Hi guys, welcome to the fourth episode of FMA Talks with Shifu Kanishka, and I'm so happy. And this episode is very special because I'm going to be introducing you to the legend, the Blade Master. You can love this guy, you can hate him, but you cannot deny him. You cannot deny his contribution to the Filipino martial arts in this world. Presenting you the Supreme Grandmaster, the Blade Master, Grandtuhon Gaje Jr., my master, my mentor, and the legend. Let's go and meet him. Hi guys, so here is the legend, the Blade Master, the Supreme Grandmaster of Pekiti Tirsia and Kali, a system which is spread over more than 65 countries in the elite armed forces, and the man responsible for this is this man. He's also my master. I've been training with him since 2008, but I'm gonna be grilling him today. So GT, what is Pekiti Tirsia and Kali, and how is it different from other arnes and eskrima styles which are prevalent in Philippines today?
Pekiti Tirsia is a different world that you live in because it has a complete system in understanding the universe. Pekiti Tirsia is a word that is describing the principles of crossing into the enemy and destroying. So, it is also a doctrine of discipline. It's also a doctrine of philosophy, doctrine of ideology. Meaning to say that Pekiti Tirsia was born in the midst of people in the olden days that are so wise and gifted that when they fought with the Spaniards, they studied carefully what was the method of fighting by the Spaniards using the Toledo technique. Our forefathers, my grandfathers, went into the extent of researching and observing and doing some spying on what the Spaniards are doing in terms of their Toledo blade. Toledo blades are long and sharp. Filipinos are on this. We call this the Grandtuhon.
That's the official blade of Pekiti Tirsia also.
This is, yes, Pekiti Tirsia. So, to study the enemy using a long weapon or long blade is difficult, because you have to wonder on how to cross into the enemy. So it requires a large of research. So the forefathers, they gathered together, including my grandfathers and grandfathers of other families. They study, they explain the whole history and be able to establish a preservation method that the system should not be stolen.
So I'm going to be asking you a second question, GT, now. That you introduced this system in America in the 1970s, and if I give the names to the people call him a legend also, and he is in his very own special right. We all respect him. Dan Inosanto, Edgar Sulite, I can take hundreds of names of these masters, and they've all been trained by GT. If not for this man, they wouldn't be who they are today. And the person who made this tape, Surviving Edge Weapon, the highest selling law enforcement tapes ever in the history till now, was made by this man. A person who introduced Pekiti Tirsia and criminal justice training system by reducing the legal liability of the department from 80 to almost like 30%. How did you do that, GT?
Well, it is...
we can walk to the shade, that's more important.
It is always a study of the enemy.
Yeah.
If you look at somebody that is performing, you have to study his weak point and his strong point. And the fact that they came to the point of realizing that there is a liability on the part of the departments, of the police department.
Let's walk and speak on the shade. Yeah.
The key is how you will be able to get into it and be able to help them.
Yeah.
But it was an incident when I went to New York Police Department and I approached the Commissioner Maguire.
Yeah.
I said, sir, I would like to introduce the Filipino system because I know that you have problems with defensive tactics program. And he says, I will arrange for you to have the 25% command. So I went there to the academy and I demonstrated the academy, and I was explaining to them that, you know, Pekiti Tirsia is here to cut the leg and destroy that and cut the legs. After my explanation, he says, Leo, your technique is very good, but very expensive. You know, you are using the technique here, you will be suffering more damages. I said, I understand. I said, I'm not familiar with the police terminology, but that is the Filipino way. So, I didn't give up. I went to Texas, and when I was in Texas, when I was put up in my summer camp, the instructors of the criminal justice system came to me and says, what can you do to help saving the police department, especially the criminal justice system? I said, the only way to save your department or the liability of the department is to reduce the liability factor. The liability meaning to say if the head is hit by a baton and it has a skull.
It's a human rights problem.
Yes, that's it. And then when there is what we call scars
There's a legal liability.
or laceration,
Yeah.
then that is liability because it costs you $1 million.
Yeah.
When you handcuff the fellow and his handcuff is very tight and he
That's
cannot
again legal
work,
liability. Yeah.
that's illegal liability. So I introduced the liability reduction factor.
Yeah.
And that liability reduction factor, it is what we call H impact weapon tactical combat for military, H impact weapon control dynamics for
Control
law
dynamics
enforcement.
of
And
police.
then all of this goes into my defensive tactics and weapon detention and going to speed
Because
cuffing.
I remember studying speed handcuffing from you, weapon disarms, active and passive arrest, safety baton tactics. That's all those that you taught me have been introduced to India.
I didn't teach so much of the techniques, it's just the principles that is
Yeah.
involved. So, the Oklahoma State law enforcement had experimented this and it reduced the liability to from 85% to 0, well, 2%.
2% from 85 to 2%.
Yes. So, it was an accepted fact. So, the criminal justice system accepted our system of liability reduction factor, and they went to the extent of creating a video, training video, which is #1 training video in the United States.
Yeah.
So,
So the third question I want to ask you, GT, is about there is a lot of confusion. There are so many sites. Let the people hear from the source. How many subsystems are in Pekiti Tirsia? Everybody is training something else, and they would really like to know from you because you are the source.
you see, in my teaching procedure, it's based on my grandfather's way of system. There was no notebook, there was no pen. As he started, he gave you the principles. As soon as the principle established, then he teach you different procedure today, different procedure tomorrow, different procedure the next day. All these procedures are the actual applied way of how the enemy can attack you.
Yeah.
So, to shorten the teaching methodology, he sees to it that if you are taught today and I teach you tomorrow, you must be able to understand what I give to you yesterday.
Yeah.
And then, without letting you know that he's testing you, he start to hammer you, and then you know, try to protect yourself, and that's wrong. So there is always an actual testing.
Yeah.
But he does not think I test you. No?
Yeah.
I teach you this, I teach you this, I teach you this, I teach you this. And then he changed his approach to you from the lesson of yesterday.
Yes.
So
But that's
I
the way you've
approach
been
So,
trained.
Yes.
But my question was, GT, that when you went to America, you taught people docent methodos, and now currently in today's scenario, people talk, oh, if there is no docent methodos, there is no Pekiti Tirsia. We all have been studying combat geometry from you, Tatlak Palapag and Picatum Trigo. There's capsular method, it goes offensa, defensa, numera, so alpha, beta, numerado, contradas, recontradas. So the systems in itself there are so many subsystems. How do you want to clear it to the people? Because
the clear to the people is to have to continue training with me.
yeah.
That's the only way, right? I have also a way of testing.
Yeah.
Because I know that somebody is going to steal. So steal. So I give you this, I give you this, I give you that. Now, when the puzzle is confused, they don't know how to teach. They will always come back to me. See? But those who are only intelligent and continue with me, then they will understand how I manage to teach so that you will be learning in a quick manner. You learn today, you learn tomorrow, you learn the next day, you still can function as what I give you.
Yes.
So, we are not talking of a system. The material is just perfect, it's just exact. Because when I went into the combat geometry, everything that I taught in the previous years are already incorporated in the
So I
combat
should
geometry.
say it's like iPhone 10. It's the most refined version of Pekiti Tirsia now, which you are teaching to your disciples.
Oh
now.
yes, yes. The Dose methods is just a foundation of numberings,
Yeah.
right? Because that is the foundation.
Yeah.
Technically, you do not need the Dose methods. As a matter of fact, I was disgusted because when I taught this,
And the last question, going back to the first question, just in few words, can you tell me how is it different from Eskrima, different styles of Eskrima? because they are stick-based and Pekiti is a blade-based system. The principal difference between Kali and Eskrima.
We don't even consider Arnis and Eskrima as a Filipino fighting system. Why? The name itself, Kali, and Arnis and Eskrima is not Filipino, it's Spanish. Right? And the way they perform as far as the Eskrima is concerned, they use a lot of stopping method.
Okay.
So, we are not in that because when we are in this culture of the blade,
Blade culture.
there is no blocking here, there's no disarm here.
That's a theory of one touch, one kill.
No, when I disarm, I take your arm.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the most point. So, the difference is our culture is pure blade. The interpretation of the blade is true to the end.
Yeah.
The interpretation of blade is used to decapitate, to divide the body into the principles of the blade is to secure that you survive, he dies.
Yeah.
So the difference is